Borderlands 3 just received a new update that brings with it some new additional features and some general fixes and improvements. So in this video, I'm going to be covering everything that this new update brings to the game. So starting off, we have a little message from Gearbox that states this update contains the first batch of performance fixes. It's far from exhaustive, but we wanted to address issues and concerns with changes that were ready and tested out as soon as possible, while the team continues active investigation and work on additional performance improvements for upcoming patches. And then it moves into the actual changes and improvements, and again, they have changed quite a lot here. To begin, they have now modified and improved the vending machines so that they now sort items by rarity. Finally, this has been added to the game. To be honest, this is something that should have been here at launch, but hey, at least they fixed it now, and I'm all for these quality of life improvements. In other news, rest in peace the porcelain pipe bomb. They have now nerfed this grenade mod, and for those of you who didn't know, this was essentially a unique grenade that you could obtain during one of the side missions on Eden 6, and it was probably the most overpowered grenade in the game, as it would literally melt bosses in seconds. Reading directly from the patch notes here, it states, addressed a reported concern with the porcelain pipe bomb, where it set off multiple explosions when colliding with objects. This grenade was never meant to explode multiple times. All enemies in the Borderlands universe are now safe from being instantly melted by radioactive poop. So rest in peace the porcelain pipe bomb. In addition to this, they have also addressed an issue where Kilovolt's shield storm attack did not disable the tiles around Kilovolt, which essentially resulted in the entire floor being activated for a long period of time. This is something that personally happened to us, and it's something that I didn't even know was a bug at the time, but either way, I'm glad it's now been fixed. Talking of things being fixed, they have also addressed an issue where Guardian ranks had the potential to become non-functional, and the player could potentially lose Guardian rank tokens into the negatives. I saw a lot of complaints about this online. This particular issue never happened to me, but it's yet another great problem they have now fixed. Another fixed issue is a problem that would occur when using the vehicle boost when traveling to a different part of the map. Essentially, once you traveled to the other area, it would non-stop keep using the vehicle's boost. This wasn't too much of a major problem, but either way, it's another fix for the game. And for the final parts of the general fixes and improvements section of the patch notes, it states, special prompt for particle text, TDO guns, critical and immune are now properly localized. Console FOV is now set to 75 by default, and they have also addressed a potential progression blocker in the mission Footsteps of Giants. In addition to the general fixes and improvements, we also have some much needed performance upgrades. To begin, it states for the PC version that they have reduced the amount of texture streaming that was occurring when aiming down sights. This would essentially cause unnecessary FPS drops and sometimes even in-game stutters. And while these performance changes won't fix all the problems in terms of in-game performance, it's definitely a great start. In addition to this, and this one's for all platforms across the board, they have also implemented some general stability improvements and also addressed a reported concern where certain users with a lot of people on their friends list saw a lot more frequent in-game hitching. Again, this is just the beginning of some of the fixes they are working on, and hopefully they will eventually get this game into a great spot in terms of performance. Coming up next, we have some much needed changes to the UI. To begin, they have addressed a reported issue where subtitles wouldn't display until after the initial cutscene. This is something that annoyed a lot of people, so I'm glad that that's now been fixed. They've also addressed an issue experienced by certain players that social notifications could become stuck on screen. I never had this issue, but I can see how annoying that would have been to just have a social queue on screen all the time. So again, another great fix there. They've also addressed and fixed the preview images that were failing to load inside of the player bank. Again, another issue I didn't seem to have, but they're fixing a lot of the community concerns here. They have also updated the Shift account creation page, where essentially it will now correctly mark invalid when you enter an invalid email address. And for the final UI improvements, it states addressed a reported issue where the item of the day item card would flash briefly before displaying on vending machines, addressed a reported concern where players were served an unread mail icon when they didn't have any mail to read, and they have also modified various features and elements of Crazy Earl's store. And for the final section of the video, we have some improvements to the split screen and online multiplayer. Let's talk about the online multiplayer changes first. It states, player icons are now pinned to the side of the minimap when playing in any kind of multiplayer session. They have also fixed an issue where 3-player groups were having trouble matchmaking with an additional solo player. They have also addressed Tina's pizza bomb so it displays correctly for clients. They have also modified certain audio elements that were reportedly looping for too long. One of the things that comes to mind here is Troy's endless screaming. That was one big issue that players were running into. I'm not going to go too much into that because it does contain spoilers. But another big change is they have now fixed the Guardian skill, Dead Man's Hand, so it now functions properly. There's still a few Guardian ranks that are still quite broken, so I'm assuming they will fix those in the next update, but those were some of the general improvements there to the online multiplayer features. And then finally, we move on to the split screen changes. Reading directly from the patch notes again here, it states, addressed a reported concerned experience by certain players that in split screen, one player's sprinting animation could be interrupted by the other player opening the echo menu. And talking of echo menu bugs in split screen, they have also fixed an issue where if one player is aiming down sights, they could be interrupted by the other player opening the echo menu as well. And then for the final few split screen adjustments, we have a fix for an issue where certain players' sounds were quiet or missing for the second split screen player if they move too far away from player 1, and they have also addressed an issue for certain players where dialogue volume faded too low before switching to echo audio during split screen gameplay. And that's pretty much it for these new changes in Borderlands 3. I tried to condense these down into kind of a very small package and straight to the point. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video today. If you did, be sure to leave a like down below. It's always greatly appreciated on the channel. And let me know your thoughts on all of these in the comment section down below. Other than that, hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're into this kind of content and other top 5 and top 10 Borderlands 3 videos. And I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.